Hi everyone, it's Nana in a bee suit. I thought you might like to come and watch us as we take off some honey. The bees have been really busy and they've got 3 supers on there, so we're going to take one of them off. We've put some little things in called bee escape valves, so it means that they've had a couple of days for the bees to come out, and I'm just going to take the top one that they can spare. So come and see what we're going to do. Not going to use any smoke on this at the moment because we're only going to be quick. There shouldn't be very many bees. So this is the one where I've cleared the bees out. There might still be 1 or 2. Ooh, very heavy, so I know there's a lot of honey in there. My muscles. There we go. So if I just lift that out to show you. There we go. So you can see that a lot of this now is capped. And this can be spun off, and the bees are not in there, so they're going to be okay. I'm going to move it away from the hive so that they're okay with me taking this one. Okay, so here I go. I'm going to take this back to the house, and then Grandad will show you how he spins it. Okay, so we've just brought the super in from the garden. Do you remember we saw it, we took it off the hive, and we're going to lift each of these frames out and get the honey out of it. Now this is the bit that Grandad does, so in a minute he'll show you what he's going to do. So as we lift out each one, you can see that the bees, there's no bees in here now obviously because they're all in the other frames, and this part here is going to be scraped off so that we can see the honey that's inside it. And Grandad will do that with this special scrapey fork, and it's called uncapping. So you scrape it off, you'll be able to see in a minute, and then when that's ready we put it into a machine that spins it really fast. You'll be able to see that, and it whooshes all the honey out, and then it all drains to the bottom of the honey spinner, and then we can put it in a white bucket, and then you'll be able to see how we've put it into the jars. So over to you, Grandad.
Okay, so here's the honey frame, and we're going to scrape the caps off like this. So we're removing the tops of the honey cells that the bees have so carefully capped for us.
You can see the honey inside.
The ones where it's white are where there's still pollen in there rather than honey, because they store honey and pollen. So we take all the caps off like this, then I turn it to the other side and I scrape all the caps off of this side as well. And you can see at the top there all the honey running out from where I've taken the caps off the top. You can see the wax is building up on the tool as well.
We can use that afterwards. We'll perhaps show you what we do with that later, another time.
Now, once we've scraped all the caps off, then we put the frame into this machine down here, which is a honey spinner. So we carefully put that in there. And what's going to happen is that when I turn the handle, it's going to go round and round and round, and it's going to throw the honey out to the sides of the spinner. But I need 3 more frames to make up 4. So we'll show you when I've got the rest of the frames in. Okay, we've got our 4 frames in here now. So we're going to put a plastic lid on.
Just have a look, Grandad.
Just to stop anything flying out. So there's one plastic lid. You can see the 4 frames in there. And as I turn this handle, the frame is going to spin around. Okay. And I'll start off really slowly and then get faster and faster. And then I'll take the frames out and turn them over. But let's do one to begin with. So here we go. You might just hear a sound that sounds a bit like raindrops, and that's the honey being thrown to the outside onto the metal. It's a bit like when you're on a roundabout and it goes round and round and you get thrown to the outside of the roundabout and it wants to throw you off. Okay, so we can go a bit faster now. It's on the mat to stop it sliding around. Okay, so that's done a little bit, and what we'll do now is we'll turn the frames over so that we can do the other side of the frames. And if you look in there, you can just see on the walls of the spinner, you can see where all the honey is sticking. Now I'll turn the frame over.
And if you were here, you could smell it. It smells yummy.
So that's 1. 2. Fit round. 3. Sometimes you have to do this a couple of times to get all the honey out. Oh, that one's stuck to the side. And 4. Yeah, not much has come out of that one. So let's have another go. Put the cover back in just so that everything stays together, and away we go. Start off slowly to begin with. And gradually increase the speed. Some people have an electric one where they just put the frames in and then the honey automatically...
They press the button.
They press the button and it spins automatically. Okay, now if you look carefully you can just begin to see that we've got some honey appearing in the bottom.
A bit tricky to see, Grandad.
Look down the
Look
side
down
there.
that side.
And there you can see the honey.
Okay. Okay, carry on, Grandad.
Right.
Okay, so Grandad's spun all the frames. Let's have a look inside the spinner. And hopefully down the bottom you can see the honey. But there's lots of bits of wax, and bits of pollen, and odd bits that we don't really want in our honey. So now Grandad will show you what's going to happen next.
We're going to open this gate to let the honey out, and then the honey is going to go through the first sieve, which will catch any big bits, and then it will go through a second sieve, which will catch any smaller bits. And then once it's in the bucket, we will be able to put it into our jars. So let's open the gate and watch all this beautiful honey come out through here. So here we go. And here it all comes. And this was the honey that I've just spun out of the frames a few minutes ago. And you can see it's got all sorts of bits and bobs in it that we don't want.
It will just be little pieces of wax or
Wax
little
where I've
pieces of pollen.
scraped it off the top of the...
Nothing that would hurt you, but we just don't want it in our honey.
So we let the top sieve fill up. We've only spun one box today, so there won't be a huge amount of honey.
But this is our first honey for the year.
This is our first honey for this year. Okay, we've emptied the honey out of the spinner now, and that's all the bits that are left. And if I lift up the filter, underneath you can see all the honey. There it is. It's still dripping through the filter.
Looks yummy, and I've tasted some and it is yummy.
So now
Grandad's going to put some in the jars now. We'll just do one for you so you can see.
A jar of honey. So I'm going to open the tap here, the valve, and the honey with no bits comes out and goes in the jar. There it is.
Oh, it's quite dark this year. Dark colour.
And then when we get to the top, we shut the gate, screw it tight. We can sample a little bit. And now, the last thing to do is to put the lid on and then add our label that says this is Milltown Cottage honey. Let's get it nice and straight on the jar.
Okay, Grandad, show us then.
And there it is. One jar of Milltown Cottage honey. All
Well done.